Welcome to Mill History Talk, the podcast where strategy meets storytelling, unpacking the drama, decisions, and disasters of war so you understand not just what happened, but why it still matters. The views expressed on Mill History Talk are those of the hosts, writers, and guests, and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any government agency, military organization, or institution. This podcast is intended for educational and informational purposes only. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, history nerds, doctrine purists, and the very specific group of people who paused a movie, rewound it, and said, "That entire squad is already dead."
And then conducted a full after-action review on the couch.
Welcome to Mill History Talk, episode 68, a special presentation of the 2025 Mill History Talk Academy of Military Film Awards, the only awards show where we judge films not by box office numbers, but by how long that unit would actually survive in contact.
Which in some cases is not long enough to finish the opening scene.
I'm Hope, your host, your guide through Hollywood's understanding of war, and the Mill History Talk official Hollywood liaison.
Do you at least get hazard pay for watching some of these movies?
No, I get emotional damage and a popcorn allocation.
That feels under-resourced.
Now, before anyone writes in, no, not all of these films came out in 2025. But, like every awards show ever, we're judging what people actually watched, argued about, and yelled at their screens over this past year. Or so.
So, the most honest awards criteria in Hollywood.
Yep. This was an interesting year for war on screen. Not a flood of traditional war films, but a lot of movies circling the same question.
What does war actually look like now?
And the answer, as always, confusing, human, and aggressively resistant to anyone's original plan.
Which is the most realistic thing Hollywood accidentally gets right.
So tonight, we're handing out awards for combat realism, leadership, historical portrayal, irregular warfare,
And at least one category where reality filed a complaint and was ignored.
and at the end of the night, we'll award the Mill History Talk Best Military Picture, the film that captures not just war on screen, but something true about war itself.
Which is harder than it looks.
So grab your popcorn, keep your doctrine manuals within arm's reach,
You're going to need them.
and Brian, start opening envelopes. All right, our first award is Best Depiction of Combat Realism. Also known as that rare cinematic moment when Hollywood remembers bullets are not just aggressive confetti.
And that standing in a doorway, fully silhouetted, is less a vibe and more a final decision.
This category recognizes films that actually attempt to portray combat as it is. Fast, confusing, and deeply unfair. We're looking for movement under fire, use of terrain, and the extremely advanced tactical concept of wanting to live through the next 5 seconds. And the nominees are Warfare, the movie that treats incoming fire like a life-threatening problem instead of a cue for dramatic dialogue. Civil War, depicting a battlefield so chaotic it feels like the entire operation began with, "We'll figure it out when we get there." And Masters of the Air, a detailed case study in why repeatedly flying into explosions is generally considered a career-limiting move.
And the winner is Warfare.
This one takes it because it understands that combat isn't cinematic. It's immediate, disorienting, and unforgiving. People move like they're under threat, because they are. Decisions are rushed, because they have to be. And nobody stops mid-firefight to workshop their emotions. And perhaps most impressively, people actually use cover.
A bold doctrinal breakthrough.
It's not perfect, but it's grounded enough that instead of critiquing every scene, you catch yourself thinking, yeah, that feels about right. Next up, Best Portrayal of Command and Leadership. Leadership, where confidence meets consequences, and occasionally ignores them.
And consequences are very patient. They always show up.
This category looks at how films portray command, decision-making under pressure, managing uncertainty, balancing risk, responsibility, and incomplete information, and whether the person in charge actually understands what's happening around them.
So, less speeches, more decisions with consequences.
Exactly. Because leadership in war isn't about sounding confident. It's about being right just often enough to survive your own decisions. And the nominees are Napoleon, the director's cut.
A case study in how repeated success can quietly evolve into strategic overconfidence.
Warfare.
Leadership as fatigue, friction, and still having to say, "We're moving."
Dune, Part 2.
Charismatic command, where inspiration scales faster than control. And the winner is Napoleon.
This wins because it captures the full arc of command, insight, decisiveness, and the gradual drift into believing your own success is permanent. You see how winning reinforces confidence, and how confidence, left unchecked, starts to replace judgment. It's essentially a masterclass in one very important leadership lesson. Past success is not a planning factor.
History agrees.
Next up is the history, according to Hollywood category. This category evaluates how well a film represents actual warfare in its historical context. Tactics, scale, environment, and the broader character of the conflict.
And whether history is being portrayed or lightly reimagined.
We're looking for films that at least attempt to respect how wars were fought before improving visibility, pacing, and everyone's hair. And the nominees are Gladiator 2.
Ancient warfare, where spectacle occasionally replaces strategy.
Napoleon, the director's cut.
Large-scale maneuver warfare, with logistics carefully kept out of frame.
Masters of the Air.
Strategic bombing portrayed as sustained effort, not instant effect. And the winner is Masters of the Air.
This earns it because it captures something essential about industrial age warfare: scale, repetition, and endurance. It shows that outcomes don't come from a single decisive moment, but from sustained effort over time. And it keeps the human dimension front and center: fatigue, fear, and persistence at altitude. And it reinforces one very practical historical lesson. If your daily routine involves flying into flak, you are not in a temporary situation.
That's not a phase, it's an operating environment.
Next up is one of my favorite categories: Best Representation of Modern or Future Warfare. The future, faster, more complex, and somehow still held together with partial information and strong opinions.
And no one has the full picture, but everyone is very confident.
This category looks at how films portray modern and future warfare. Technology, information, speed of decision-making, and whether anyone is actually in control, or just reacting faster than the problem evolves.
So, less linear battlefields,
And more systems colliding in ways nobody briefed. And the nominees are Dune, Part 2. Conflict driven by belief, insurgency, and momentum that no one fully controls. Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, Part 2. Operations executed at a tempo that challenges planning and basic human limitations. Civil War, a fragmented battle space where perception shapes reality as much as firepower.
and the winner is Dune, Part 2.
This wins because it captures the defining feature of modern war: complexity. Technology doesn't simplify conflict, it accelerates it, amplifies it, and makes it harder to control. And by the time you think you understand the situation, you're already behind it.
Decision-making at the speed of regret.
That brings us to the best depiction of irregular or unconventional warfare. Irregular warfare, where structure exists, but only loosely.
And the plan is more of a suggestion.
This category evaluates how films portray unconventional conflict. Guerrilla tactics, special operations, adaptation, and whether success comes from planning or from being harder to predict than the enemy. The nominees for this category are The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Special operations conducted before doctrine, oversight, or subtlety entered the conversation. Dune Part 2. Insurgency powered by belief, terrain, and long-term persistence. Rebel Moon Part 2. The Scargiver.
Resistance built on determination and a strong commitment to dramatic timing. And the winner is The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
This takes it because it captures the essence of unconventional warfare. Creative, risky, and just structured enough to function. It shows that success often comes from surprise and from doing what the enemy doesn't expect or can't counter in time. And occasionally, from trying something no one approved.
A timeless tactic.
This next category recognizes the moment where realism quietly leaves the film.
Followed closely by physics.
We're looking for scenes where spectacle wins decisively over doctrine, and where the outcome is driven by cinematic confidence rather than operational logic. The category is Best Hollywood over Reality Moment.
And the nominees are Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 2. A series of operations where gravity consistently objects and is overruled. Rebel Moon Part 2. The Scargiver. Tactical planning replaced by slow motion and unwavering confidence. Gladiator 2. Ancient combat reimagined as highly coordinated stunt choreography.
And the winner is Mission Impossible.
This wins because it commits completely to spectacle over realism. Plans succeed not because they make sense, but because they look incredible while happening. It's entertaining, impressive, and absolutely not a model for operational planning.
Unless your unit can also ignore gravity. This next award is the serious one.
Which means we're about to ruin the mood.
This category recognizes the film that best captures a fundamental truth about war. War as politics, war as human interaction, war as uncertainty, and the gap between intention and outcome. It's the favorite award of strategists, the Karl von Clausewitz Best Big Idea About War Award. Or, as we here at Mill History Talk call it, the C2B2 IAW Award. Because in a military film awards show, you have to have an acronym. And the nominees are Dune Part 2. War shaped by belief, power, and consequences that expand beyond control. Civil War. Conflict driven by fragmentation and the collapse of shared legitimacy. Napoleon, the director's cut. War influenced by personality until reality intervenes.
And the winner is Dune Part 2.
This film gets it. War is not just fighting. It's momentum, belief, and consequences that expand beyond control. Decisions create effects, and those effects create new realities that leaders can't fully contain. And by the time they understand the situation, they're already committed to it. Clausewitz would absolutely recognize this. He'd love this movie. And probably insist on adding several footnotes.
And also write 14 more drafts of the script.
All right, and that brings us to the final award, Best Military Picture. The one that brings everything together: combat, leadership, realism, and the overall portrayal of war.
So, no pressure. Just capture the nature, character, and consequences of war in about 2 hours.
This category looks at the total package. Does it feel real? Does it say something meaningful? Does it reflect how war actually unfolds? And does it avoid making us pause every 5 minutes to ask, why would they do that?
The standards in this category are definitely very high.
Very true. So let's get on with it.
And the nominees for Best Military Film in 2025, or close to that year, are Warfare, combat reduced to its essentials, survival, friction, and decisions made under pressure. Masters of the Air, industrial age warfare told through persistence, sacrifice, and cumulative effort. Dune Part 2, a sweeping portrayal of power, conflict, and consequences that expand beyond control. And the winner is Warfare.
This takes it because it does the hardest thing a war film can do. It strips away the mythology. No grand simplifications, no clean narratives. Just combat as it actually feels. Confusing, exhausting, immediate, and deeply human. It trusts the audience enough to show war without explaining it away. And that's exactly why it works.
It lets friction do the storytelling.
And that's your Mill History Talk Awards 2025. And yes, this is absolutely becoming an annual event.
So Hollywood has time to adjust.
Or at least give us more material. And just to be clear, Hollywood, I am your official Hollywood liaison. I haven't gotten my invite to the premiere of the new Eisenhower D-Day weather movie coming out soon. You have my number. Use it.
Preferably before she reviews it.
And don't worry, we're not done with movie reviews. In addition to at least the one new offering I just mentioned, coming up, we're heading into the classics: Patton, Fury, The Longest Day, and Gettysburg.
So expectations are about to increase significantly.
And I will be evaluating them accordingly. As your Hollywood liaison. And someone who has read a lot about what happens when tactics go wrong. So, that's our show. We hope you enjoyed it. Thanks again for allowing us to share our 2025 Academy of Military Film Awards with you. And thanks for listening to Mill History Talk,
where strategy meets storytelling.
And bad tactics never go unnoticed. See you next time!